Hello there. I have to be honest. I thought like Fabled was going to be a very aggro-based and slow and boring kind of set, but it's shaping up to be actually pretty interesting. So here's me cooking something for the next set in a really weird color combination, which is yellow, blue. Oh, and by the way, for my Spanish-speaking friends, si quieren ver este video en español, les voy a dejar en el link de la descripción, el primer comentario fijado, este mismo video, pero la versión en español. All right, so shall we continue then? I just want to show it to you right now. Okay, let's stop all the pleasantries. Look, here we go. That's the deck. King Candy in New Orleans. Now, I had made this deck before. It was just one big gimmick that we had to play in, which was Naveen into New Orleans. But now we actually have so many lines of play that it makes the whole thing more consistent and pretty powerful. Unfortunately, the meta before was pretty fast, so you actually even though you're ramped into a really big character, you could still get left behind unless you were facing green or something, you know. But it usually didn't pay off really well. It was fun. It was like a fun deck you take on a, I don't know, out on a league night or something. But it wasn't something you actually played competitively. However, I think Fabled has changed things because the big disadvantage of playing this deck before was hard removal or like just board wipes, which don't exist anymore. So now we can actually play this deck, but I had to change it a little bit because we lost a lot of stuff, like how far ago and all that jazz. So what are we doing here? I know it looks like ridiculous, but I promise you it's pretty fun, it's pretty good, and it's pretty strong in my opinion. By the way, this mini that you see here is not actually that mini from Shimmering Skies. It's actually this one, because this is probably what made this deck so much better. As you can probably tell, I mean, the first effect is pretty pointless. In this deck, your character named Mickey Mouse gains support. That we don't care about that. But this one is really strong. Whenever this character quests, you may banish chosen exerted character with 5 attack or more. That's pretty good in this deck because, as you can probably imagine, the whole gimmick is that we throw Alice in play, and now we have a lot of characters that have 3 or even more attack, and we can quest with them. We can give the attack to an opposing character, and then this mini quests, and she can, while questing, be banishing other characters, and we can protect her with our bodyguard. So we have Thunderbolt here, we have Calhoun, and if they take Calhoun out, we get 1 lore. So I mean, everything is like, everything goes so well together. Robin Hood is here to give us a card because we're going to be low on cards. I can assure you that. You might think, oh, okay, I see what Salas wants to do here. He wants to develop Alice and then give her like 10 attack and she quests for 4. I mean, sorry, for 5 actually. If that happens, that's pretty cool, but we don't actually have to do that. We are here because she has such a powerful effect in Fable, which is your other characters gain support. Every single other character gains support, which is pretty good. Suddenly, you can trade with T-Pose and King Candies, or suddenly, you can, every single character contributes to making the opponent characters stronger, so your mini can probably take out anything that your opponent has played. That's pretty strong. I mean, that's super strong. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. We have Baymax here to finish because we have so many high health characters. You know, we have Yuri Hobbs, Calhoun, Thunderbolt, and that way Baymax can help them stay nice and healthy. So the overall plan of this deck is you get your turn 1 out. We have King Candy here as your 1-drop, or we can even use Restoring the Heart, which is basically like a worse develop, pretty much. It's just to make the deck a little more consistent. And of course, we also have develop because we lost all draw potential in blue. So now we have to use develop in probably every single blue deck, in my opinion. Now, the next play would be either you ramp with Tipo or Azura, which would be the best. What's the whole point of ramping? I know it looks pretty obvious, just going to Naveen into singing down in New Orleans. But also, we could sing All Is Found, which is really interesting. Now, All Is Found is usually too early, in my opinion, to actually take advantage of. Usually, you don't have 2 cards that early into the game to be able to sing with Naveen. However, with this deck, you are almost certain to have at least 2 cards in the discard by the time Naveen comes into play. Why? Because we're running these little low-cost cards that draw a card and that replace themselves. So you could do that, then ramp, and that's it. you got 2 cards in the discard already. So by the time Naveen comes in, he sinks all his found, and boom, you are at 6 ink. Starting next turn, and you can start just putting all the stuff in play. Naveen could even sink down in New Orleans once he is there, and there you go. That's probably the strongest opening because you are developing a body on board, but you're actually still playing something big the next turn. And by the way, the reason we are not using a puppy to shift Thunderbolt on is because we want 1-drops, and there is no 1-drop puppies. There is one, but it's on inkables. We are running high on inkables in this deck. We have 12 already, so I wouldn't like to go higher. So that's why we are playing Thunderbolt just, as is. Also, you almost exclusively want to sing down in New Orleans with Prince Naveen because all of our 6 cost characters are pretty good at questing or doing other stuff. Probably the best one to sing with would be Calhoun because she stays a bodyguard after she sings, so that's pretty good, I guess. However, you could sing with all of them. The only one I wouldn't sing with would be Robin Hood because he gains evasive during your turn, so that means he could remove potential threats on the opponent's side and then just heal it up with either Baymax or restoring the heart. But Yudi Hobbs is pretty good as well because at the end of your turn, she ready another chosen character. So you could ready your Alice after she has quested for 5, or Prince Naveen after he sang something. I don't know, right? It really depends. It really comes down to what you're trying to do, and so many lines of play that you will never be stuck on, oh man, I have no Naveen, I have no down in New Orleans, what do I do? You almost have something to do with this deck now. I think the 5 costs fix that for you because sometimes you don't get Naveen, right? You don't ramp, but you still have something to do on turn 5, which is pretty good. And no board wipes or removal means this deck gets to live a lot more. So that's, that was the problem before, and we don't have the problem anymore. So just go enjoy and just spam the board with characters. You'll love it, but your opponents will not. I promise you that. If you want to see more of this deck, I'll leave a link in the description and, in the first comment as well. So you can actually take a look at it and let me know what you thought. Thank you. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.